construction sector is still active and it's still working, but there are some businesses that are facing a lot of challenge. And with the support that you are providing for them, how are they doing the overall activity? How do you assess it? Is it as bad as you expected, or is it getting better, or you're minimizing the challenge? How is that?
Like compared to some other countries like say Brazil, Spain, Italy, and so on, we can say yes, we are in a better condition. But as a low resource setting country, in Ethiopia, we don't have that financial flexibility as far as investment is concerned. And because of that, especially the hotel industry, the travel industry were very much hit by this COVID case. There are some hotels that have been closed for nearly 4 months now, with no guests coming to their premises. There are some transportation companies that are running at maybe 20% of their capacities. And all those equipments, the vehicles, the employees, and the supporting staffs are being paid with no income or very minimum income. And those cases have put us in a shock. Let's talk about the construction and the manufacturing industries. As you know, there is always a shortage of resources in our country because we're developing countries, right? So the last 2-3 years, we were facing with foreign exchange challenges before COVID, okay? So manufacturing sector was really in a very tight condition. Now, you add COVID on this, okay? There was no foreign exchange to buy raw material, and now there is no even a local supplier to bring you the inputs. And add on that, there is no customer to take your goods. And you are between a hard surface and a rock as employer. And when we go to the financial institutions like the commercial banks, private commercial banks, and so on, to get a financial support is still the same as 5-6 years ago. You have to line up, you have to give, they don't really go into the current situation and analyze the scenario and say, we have to support or bail out this company before it is closed down. The funniest thing is the health sector. People thought that because of COVID, the health sector will be booming because people will get sick, they will come to your hospital, and then you will be, overwhelmed with customers and so on. But the true scenario is even hospitals are suffering. There are 2 big hospitals that they came to our federation and that told us they will be closed down within the coming 60 days unless otherwise there is a special support that they will be receiving from the financial sector, which is like now what we're talking about is a minimum salary of a specialist in Ethiopia now is 70 to 80,000 birr net, which is about like 100-something thousand birr growth. Okay, so all those professionals in the hospital being idle, and there's no revenue being generated, the hospital owners and operators are really in a very big financial stress. I don't know what August will bring, but we are in a very, very difficult situation, I can say.
And can you tell me how many members do you have right now in your federation, and how do you intend to expand them or to have more members within, let's say, the coming year, 5 years, the plan that you have?
Okay, so now we do have 9 federations under us, and those federations are situated in different regions like Doredawa, Harare, Adama, Bishoftu, Jimma, Addis Ababa, Mekelle, Gambella, and Debre Brand. So under them, I can say we do have more than, if I'm not mistaken, and close to 100,000 maybe employees. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So now let's go to the African scenario. Now that the African Union, the African countries, they are talking about bringing all Africans together. The trade relations should be increased, and we should work together to continental free trade agreements are being signed. So, what is ILO's engagement in that? How are you going to get involved with African countries so they would have more resources, ideas on how to do business, especially some African countries, they are very developed, some are not that much developed, and how do we balance those and the support that we would provide?
Okay, well, when we take that issue of regional integration and bring it more specifically to the employers, I think one of the things that the federation, or the confederation in this case, did last year was to bring together employers' organizations within IGAD countries, and took exactly the same statement you're giving, more regional integration, Africa free trade coming area. What is the role of employers, and how can employers ensure that their interests are taken into consideration in these discussions? So it was a bit of a long process, working closely with Dawit and also with the ILO headquarters in Geneva. I remember we had a meeting with him in June, just trying to see how do we do this so that it fits within the global picture. Second week of December last year, they managed employers from IGAD to come together to have a regional employers so that they have a voice that they can take to IGAD. Now for my end, that's a major milestone. Second part of it is IGAD is one part of the 53 countries in Africa. And now the question is, how do they also bring that voice within Africa at large and also the Africa Union? So the Federation is a member of Business Africa, which gives the voice of African employers to regional related activities. So as ILO, our role is basically not to tell them which organization to be or to organize, but once they make the call, how do we support to ensure that the issues they stand for, the issues we stand for, which are the same, decent and productive employment, are part of the bigger regional organization. Then final point is moving from Ethiopia to the global scene, where also we support in terms of their participation globally within the International Employers Organization. So you'll find that what is happening at the factory level in Ethiopia through the voice of employers is also influencing the global policy decisions. And what the global policy decisions are being taken through the employers organization, they have to come down to influence what is happening at the shop floor. So I think from the ILO, that is sort of the facilitating role that we provide to the employers organizations.
Okay, let me have a final word from to Dawit. As employers federation, are you ready for the task? Are you ready for the challenge that the African integration is going to bring? Are the employers ready for healthy competition in the African scenario?
Yes, and always.
Always ready.
Let me start with what His Excellency Mr. Musindo puts it. The unification of the East African, the IGAD, came about like 2000, if I'm not mistaken, March 2019, we started the case. We were discussing with them how to formulate it and so on. And the main idea of bringing the IGAD nations into one confederation was, like you said, to strengthen our competitions among our economies. Plus, more or less, we do have the same type of challenges, Yodit. Believe me or not, what we're facing in Ethiopia and Addis Ababa is being faced in Khartoum, Sudan, or in Kampala, Uganda. We're more or less we're having the same kind of challenges. So why we brought this idea of the unification is one thing. What the Ugandans are experiencing with their government, with their communities and so on, can be a great lesson for us Ethiopians here in Addis. And what we're doing here in Addis can be a very good lesson to those who are in Djibouti or in South Sudan or in Sudan itself. So this type of information exchanging platform and also experience sharing networking will elevate our strength in bringing us to the expectation of our members, our government, and our workers, and makes us a stronger and more louder voice whenever we represent our employers and so on. Plus, in the economy, it will be much easier and faster if we do have a common platform that we forward now in the IGAD region to make things smoother, plus more closer to each other. Otherwise, separated like we used to be, Ethiopian employers not being involved with the African brothers in the region. Whenever there is an issue between a supplier and a buyer, or whenever there is an issue of any economical situation, it would have been very difficult resolving the issues and the problems. But now with this platform, of course, because of COVID, we couldn't meet that often. As mentioned, we are on Zoom meeting, usually virtually meeting, but and also the transaction, the economic kind of say velocity is slowing down. Otherwise, if it is like, let's think of post-COVID, I promise you, Yodit, we will be in a very much smoother, faster, and growing economy in the whole region.
Hope to see that in the near future, with this COVID thing gone and you becoming strong, united with the other African countries to meet your goals. So thank you very much, my guests for today, Mr. Alexio and Mr. Dawit. Thank you for coming, and hope in the future sometime we will get together, and when this thing is happening, really actualizing your plans, we'll get together and discuss about the progress that you are making in the African scenario. Thank you very much. Dear viewers, that's all we have for this edition of African View. I have a lively discussion with the labor representative, ILO, and the federation, the Ethiopian Employers Federation, how they are working together and what they are doing in this COVID era, especially to support various businesses that are facing a lot of challenge, which is really commendable. And they have also told us about not only the employers, but also the relationship that they have with the labor union, the employees, and also the government, how they are all working together to actually develop the sector, the business sector in Ethiopia. So till next time, I'm Yodit Admasu along with the guests. Goodbye.